Hello. Welcome to yet another good episode of To the Fullest, to TF, a podcast where we say it all, a podcast where we share everything without leaving any stone unturned. And today's episode, I feature Norah. Amaona abantu bakumayada was Norah, like now for us combo ni Norah.
It's Norah.
Yeah. I feature Norah Chipulu.
Yeah, Norah Limande Chipulu.
At least I've gotten the name right without the hair and the other syndrome. I've managed to kill the grandpa in me.
Congratulations.
And on today's podcast, we are going to discuss about what it takes to be a founder. She's a student and a founder of
ID Hub.
What is ID Hub?
Well, ID Hub is a center where youth from different walks of life can come to interact and share their story and just be them without being judged, without being ridiculed about what they've gone through, and just receive the work they need in Christ. Because I believe when you talk about ID, we're talking about identity. Yeah, so each of us has a unique identity. Because even if I were to get your NRC right now, I wouldn't have the same details as you.
Yeah, except just the same color.
It's so great. I think even the colors are different. Yeah, the color of the NRC, yes. Yeah. Because it's in black and white, so you can't see our complexions on it. Yeah, but back to it. ID stands for identity. So when I talk about a hub, it's a center. So it's like Jesus is the center of our identity. Hence the name. So when you come to ID Hub, it's understanding that Jesus is the center of your identity, and you get to understand who you are in Christ.
Oh, that's not before I get to know. Let me first put my BlackBerry on silent mode before that. Oh, it's already off.
Yeah.
So Norah, before we talk much about founding ID Hub, I would want to know, we want to know, how was life like growing up?
Well,
you because one thing I believe is for you to find or start ID Hub, there are some things which prompted you, there are some things that inspired you.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I believe everything starts from you being a child, growing up, things you've seen, things you've experienced. They always motivate us to do something. Not all the time, but most of the time. So I would want to know, who is not as a child? How was life like growing up?
Well, where to start? From the beginning.
Start from there.
There.
Yes.
So there is, my name is Norah Limande Chipulu. I'm saying both my full name because I have two surnames. So knowing that I have two surnames, meaning I have two fathers. Because the surname comes from the father.
Yeah.
So I have my biological dad and my adoptive dad. But both of them to me are a huge part of my growth and my life. So, which means, it's not that my mom is yeah, but my mom was married, divorced and remarried. So from her first marriage, there's my older brother and myself. And then from the other marriage, there are three of us. There are three of them. So which makes us five. So I'm actually a second biologically, but a fourth marriage-wise. I hope I make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So growing up, where you live in an extended family. I've never had the experience of being in a nuclear family because my parents are the accommodative type, which means people come, people go. You live with different people. So for me, growing up, I was sexually abused, and then I was body shamed by, close people like siblings, family. And as siblings, you don't realize that you're body shaming your friend. So, because for me growing up, I was small at some point, then immediately I attained a certain age, I started becoming big. As you can see, I'm very healthy. Yeah. So, I've been body shamed at home, at school. Your siblings won't realize it, but it causes damage to a certain point. Imagine being told by your own brother. Yeah, for him it's a joke, but for you it's like, you know. So it's like, you're very fat. Who can want you? Who can even carry you? It's like it builds a defense mechanism in you that you don't even realize. So you become very insecure. So for me, growing up, I was very insecure, and I was also told I was very lazy. So I began to believe it, and also I resented my adoptive father a lot because I thought he was the reason why my parents' marriage ended. But at this point, I understand now that it was none of my business. You know, sometimes one thing I learned, I don't know if I'm going ahead of myself or I'm moving just fine. But one thing I learned later in life that I will mention is your problem is not unique, first off. That's one thing we should understand in our lives. You think you're going through something now, but someone is going through something more worse than what you're going through, and you don't understand it until a later stage in life. So Norah is an older sister and a younger sister. Norah is a student. Norah is a daughter, a child of God. Norah is a founder. Yeah, and basically that's, I think there's nothing exciting, nothing much, but that's Norah.
Well, you people are maybe wondering why I'm focusing on Norah as the founder. So this young lady here, she was someone I would talk to when I was in campus. You know, when you just have challenges and you just want someone to talk to. That's when I came to learn about the idea about just open up, share what I'm going through, and trust me, there's some wisdom in this person. There's wisdom beyond our age.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Norah, when you look back from your childhood and all the experience you've had, what has been your biggest lesson which you've learned or you've taken from your life as a child?
Again, I will mention it. My biggest lesson is my problem is not unique. Once you start to treat your problem like it's a unique thing, you find yourself getting depressed. You find yourself in a space, in a very unhealthy space. But when you understand that there's someone going through more than I am going through right now, it actually encourages you. Not that you feel good that someone else is going through worse than what you're going through, but to know that other people are dealing with, like, these are real life issues, and I'm not the only one going through it. So you know that if I'm able to receive my healing, the next person can receive their healing. And another thing I've learned is change is a choice. You know, I have the power to change how I think, how I look at myself, how I look at others. You know, this is something that people don't know about. But have you ever viewed someone's status? You know, I was viewing someone's status randomly and maybe like, ask yourself, why am I feeling like that? First of all, check yourself. Why is that person's progress making you feel a certain way? It's because you haven't healed in certain areas of your life. Why should someone going out, let's say I go on a boat cruise or I see my friend going for a boat cruise and then I'm like, hey, Avanao, how is that your business?
I've never gone out.
You understand? Like, why don't you take yourself out on a boat cruise? You understand? People have come from different walks of life, and if you want to put yourself in that person's shoes, it's going to be very hard to feel them. Because some people wear small shoes and they're very comfortable. It's painful, but it's comfortable for them. So I can't put myself in your shoes, you can't put yourself in mine. Unless you really come down to a certain point where you want to understand and help me. So for me, those are my biggest lessons.
Yeah, I think your story reminds me of my friend.
Yeah.
We are not that close, but so we was walking one day, and then we met these people, and then they were saying, the way you walk, you really boast. And his response is what got me. I was like, I know people who lost their legs. Well, I have them, let me use them.
I mean, because you only have one chance.
Yeah, so I think that's the same story. He's also someone who's going through stuff.
Yeah.
You really had a child, which I didn't
know.
It
was exciting.
Now I understand why. We'll talk about the idea later. Yeah. And what's your biggest fear from your childhood?
My biggest fear from my childhood is I'm not sure. Because I feel like if I didn't go through what I went through then, I wouldn't be me now. So my biggest fear, aside being scared of spiders, so I just wouldn't want my children to go through what I went through. So I'd want to be a better version of myself. So I'm able to, you can't protect them from everything, but where I can, I feel like I can avoid it.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
But before I go to another part, there's why I really wanted to understand. You say you're using 2 surnames.
Yes.
And at some point you said your stepfather was not your favorite.
Yo.
At some point.
No.
So when did you decide to get them both and say, I think this is just my guy?
Well, I think it took me years, because I think he got me when I was 2. Yeah, I think he got my brother and I when I was 2. And that's the time they married his mom. But before then, I think I remember he used to come visit, bring us things for school and whatnot. So I really didn't have a soft spot for him. And then, he's my dad. I love that man right now. He's my best friend. But back then, he was, his voice, his tone or his speech, I don't know which one it is. He's very loud.
Yeah.
So when he's speaking, you think he's shouting at you. Yeah, that's how he speaks. And then when it comes to academics, he's very serious. So you've got no chance for a nonsense. Yeah, so for me, I thought he also didn't like me. So I was just reciprocating the energy I felt. Sometimes when people say energy never lies, but energy does lie sometimes. Because you really don't know what person's intentions are for you. And until I reached grade 9, because my performance in school as well dropped because of the things that I was harboring inside. You reach a point where you're contemplating suicide. Yeah, because you feel like no one understands you. Even if you explain what's going to change, I had no one to talk to, so I kept everything that happened to me until I was 16. So when I was in grade 9, this time around, I was about to write my exams. And one time, I don't know what we were talking about with my mom at home. And then she just mentioned the fact that this man has been there for you. He's the one who's been taking you to school from the time you were a child, from the time you started school to where you are now. And it just hit me to say it's rare that men marry a woman with 2 kids or even just 1 child. It's rare for them to actually educate that child from childhood to a certain point. Because they'll be like, it's not my child, let her father take that responsibility. But Mr. Chipulu has been there for me. He's been comfort. Because I got to understand, like, it's a sacrifice. Because this is a man that already had his own children, and he was already taking care of other people. On top of that, his wife comes with 2 more kids, and he still manages to educate both of them. And so for me, when I got to realize that, I was like, sorry to say, my own dad hasn't done that for me. And then here's a man that just comes, gives me his surname, accommodates me in his house, me and my brother, my mom. All that just changed how I looked at him. And for me, I'm like, this man is a good man. You understand? He's an amazing man. And for me, that's how everything changed. We got to a point where we started to interact, and he understood me, I understood him. And at that same time is the time Mom went to Bible school. When she went to Bible school, that's Rema Bible Training Center. So I was like, I saw the difference that she had. Because my mom used to drink. I know I didn't get permission to say this. My mom is a pastor now. She used to drink a lot. And then at this point, when she went to Bible school, I just saw her become a whole different person. And at that point, I said, this is what I want to be. So I said immediately I'm done with grade 12 secondary school. I want to go to Bible school before going to college, because I don't want to be that youth that's swayed by the wind without direction. I want to be the one to cause change and not to be changed. So yeah.
I'm feeling like this. We have enough gathered from here.
I mean.
No, but I have a lot to learn.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so at what point in your life did you just realize that, okay, this is the body number one? I know you've talked about mom, seeing mom and decided, okay,
Yeah.
So was it the main turning point or the other instances?
I think that's one of my main turning points because, I've explained how my childhood was. It wasn't pretty for me. Where you attempt to commit suicide twice. But then, when God has a plan for your life, I believe He has a plan for everybody's life. It's about you wanting to be, you deciding, because everything is a choice. You understand? So for me, after I saw mom's change, I said I really need to go through. And then the thing with Bible Square, especially the Bible Square that I went to, we were taught it's either you go there and live a different person, learning the right thing, or come back and live the way you want because you just want a diploma. But then for me, my prayer when I went there was, may I understand my purpose? Because living a purpose in life sometimes is tiring because you really don't understand who you are, what you're supposed to do in life. People don't understand why they're exhausted, but if you don't understand your purpose, you start to feel a certain way, like you're not doing anything in life. So my greatest prayer for me was for me to understand my purpose. So the 2 years I spent in Bible school, I felt like the first year was done. There was a lot of unlearning and learning and relearning. And then in my second year, I was like, God, I'm about to graduate. And I still feel like I'm missing something. So there's this particular course called Team Labs where you're supposed to work as a team, have a team leader, understand your personalities, and just come up with a project. A very convincing project that you even sell to someone and they buy into it. And so our group was working with, I think, the community. Yes. So we were working with issues to do with the community. So we're supposed to come up with a problem tree. And the problem is not just the fruit, it comes from the roots. So we're supposed to come with the problem from the root cause and now the effects of the problem. So part of my group members talked about teenage pregnancies, drug abuse. Those are just results of a root cause, which is a problem. So during our group session, I heard God say, this is where you understand your purpose. And for me, I just said, why don't we work on identity crisis? Because that's a big problem. If you don't understand your identity, you become frustrated. When you get frustrated, that's how you indulge into peer groups, where you find yourself drinking, you find yourself smoking, you find yourself in wrong company, you start sleeping around, you become promiscuous because you don't understand yourself. So an identity crisis is the root cause, and those things that we see in our society now are just the side effects or the results of that root cause. So for me, I heard God say, this is your purpose. You know what it means. Because, trust me, before I went to Bible school, I started drinking in grade 10. I became like a promiscuous person. Not very bad, not promiscuous to that point. But yeah, to a certain point. And it was just living life like you could not direction. But once you understand who you are and whose you are, and which is a child of God, you begin to live a certain way. You begin to build a certain character, wanting to build, working towards a certain character. So God, in that point, was teaching me that I am the center of the identity. Without me, there is no you. And for me, that was my motivation. No, because now there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about a righteous man falling and getting up again, and I think that's what my life has been so far. I'm not saying I'm perfect now. I've had weak points where I fall, but then I will still get back up because I know that even if I go back to the life that I wanted, it's not going to make sense. The problem with our generation now, we want the best of both worlds. We lack discipline, and that's one thing I'm learning now. We want to live for Christ and we want to live for the world, but you can't. Jesus Christ said, if when you are lukewarm, I will spit you out. It's either you're hot or you're cold. And so yeah, I'm getting to understand that too. I'm learning to build a certain discipline because I know there are people that are looking up to me, especially my siblings. my parents themselves tell me I inspire them. So I'm trying. It's not easy, but I'm trying. Yeah.
Sure. Where you said can they both work? I'm sure my cameraman is smiling. He loved that. Shit, kachokapa na marambu kunyewa. You see what I do?
Yeah, you can even let me take it back. You remember? I don't know if you remember the show Hannah Montana.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah. So Hannah Montana was a normal girl, and she was also this very popular musician. You understand? So she would be swapping places.
Oh, yeah.
And then the theme song was "You've got the best of both worlds." But you can't have the best of both worlds. It's either you give one more attention or you give the other. Yeah.
Idea. When did it start? It started as official organization.
Well, it's still under works. It's not really an official organization. I run ID Hub whenever I get the chance to individuals so far. Not that it's a registered organization or anything yet. I do have the intention, but it's not yet. So, but we're getting there.
Intentions or you're working on it?
Right now it's in the intention stage.
Yes.
But we're about to start working towards it because I feel like I need people to work with. I think, it's challenging when you don't have accountability partners. Where you've got a vision, you've got a bright idea, but you've got no people to work with. And I blame myself to some extent for that because I feel like I'm too relaxed in that area. I have all the excuses in the world, which is not right. But yeah. Yeah, so I think ID Hub was generated in 2022, as I said. But then starting to work on it, I started working on it in 2023. Yeah. And so far so good. When I get the interaction, you're winning souls for Christ in the background, just through interactions. Yeah.
You consider us.
Yes. Through conversations like.
Yeah. Anyway, you said it's not yet registered or it's not yet there. But what do you think? What are some of the challenges that you are facing in the initial stage of running it or trying to get it there?
First off, a challenge I think is acquiring the right people. I think it's important to pray for the right people because this is an idea that was given to me by God. So I can't stand in my own capacity and say, I need you because I feel like you've got the following, I need you. Sometimes you end up getting the wrong people to come and distort the vision of the organization. Another thing is the lack of accountability partners because I have no one following me. I'm not saying I need someone following me with a whip at the background saying, oh, you have to do this, because it starts with me. But if I have someone that I'm accountable and constantly reporting to say, oh, Norah, how far have you gone with it? You understand? I think that's another thing. Another challenge is the lack of adequate knowledge, I think. I would say that as well because for me, my comfortability is, I really don't know how to do a podcast, I don't know how to run an organization. When in the actual sense, I do have the capacity. I think I'm just relaxed. Another challenge is staying in your comfort zone. Staying in your comfort zone kills a vision. Because there's a season you're supposed to be operating in, but then because you're in your comfort zone, say, I'm going to do it later. People are moving on with life. So I think those are some of the challenges. You did a Bible school. Yeah.
Come back. Now you're also in school now doing
journalism and public relations.
So what's the plan? How do you marry them? Which one are you doing?
Public relations.
You mean you're bad?
No. That's, I'm not...
Are you expecting a pastor or a journalist?
Actually, you can balance both. Well, not a journalist, but a public relations officer.
So it's not journalism?
It's journalism and public relations, but I would like to major in public relations.
What's the difference between journalism and
the difference is there, but it's not so big. Yeah, because most public relations officers started from Germany. So yeah, I can balance both. It's about time management, it's about discipline, it's about growth, it's about being intentional. Because if I focus on my career and neglect finishing, first off, I'm neglecting the one that gave me the career. You know? So yeah, it's about striking a balance. It's no, right now it's something I'm working towards. You understand?
It's just from saying that balance, just focusing on
ID how? Yeah.
Not love. But then it's love. Hey, mixing nice. Which was some of my chemicals that the panga says move on.
And put it in the right time.
Yeah. So anyway, so idea, what kind of people you wish to deal with? Mental health. What's the problem?
Because
my brokenness.
It also deals with their mind. You know, my mom always says something. She says the battle is the mind. Everything starts from an idea. The person that hurts you, sometimes even if it's not intentional, it starts from the mind. Even when you're about to start thinking of how that person hurts you, it's in the mind. It's in your soul. So brokenness is look at the mind, body and soul. We also have the spirit, body and soul. You understand? The soul is who you are. So if you put the broken soul, your mind is broken. It's all you. You understand? So
I'll come back. Just finish.
Yeah, so it's for anyone that feels they do need help and help from them. Like you're kind of, I don't know if you know what it feels like to be at that point where you feel like you're resting.
You know what I'm asking?
Yeah.
First of all, talk about people back in the day.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So my question now, which one is it? Because there are a lot of people trying to go the way of
yeah.
And you find that they'll be like, because for me, you focus on your child, on this specific topic. Someone is asking to focus on boy child and drag things together. Or what, it's just like, okay, this is. That's why I was trying to understand.
So IDHA is not restricted to a specific gender. Because if I say it's just the girl child, I feel like the boy child has been neglected enough. And at the end of the day, even if you are neglected, you guys are the ones that are coming to marry us later in life. So if I'm promoted and made Miss Independent, and then my husband is there, is a junkie because he wasn't paid attention to, he still has a broken boy in him. He's not yet become a man. Exactly. That's the challenge that's there now. Because we as the girls, I mean, I appreciate the effort we are being focused on. We are being promoted, we are being built. But is everyone understanding it the same? Because the intention behind it is pure. You want to promote the girl child. You want to make the girl child independent so they're not stepped on, they're not this, they're not that. How about the boy child? If you say you're teaching the boy child how to respect her, how to observe, how to understand, how to listen to women, you understand? So at ID Hub, you know, the thing with mental health issues, they don't just target a specific gender, they target everyone. Not only women get depressed, men do get depressed. But for men, it's your ego that's going to come in and say, if
Mamuna somebody
because
men don't open.
Yeah, you understand. Yeah. So it's for both genders.
Yeah, but on a serious note, we really want to open up, but the way
no one to open up.
Yeah, for example, imagine, let's say I am dating, then I go to report a case to say that my girlfriend beats me. You know, face you see,
it's just going to look weird.
Exactly. So how do you
But that's something that has become a normal thing, which is not supposed to be the case.
Yeah. Or if I go to report a case to say I was raped, people, instead of people hearing from me, they start laughing at me. Say, Mamuna, my own.
Yes.
They are pressure. So
So that's the thing. So ID Hub is open to everyone that feels like they do need help and they have that hurting child in them. Because I believe all of us have that hurting child that needs to be helped and pulled out for you to start to grow again. Because it's like you're locked at a certain stage. You know, there's a certain people that you see and words, I'm an stage in my life. Have you ever sorry. Have you ever seen elderly men that dress up like like a youngster? Like, it's not a bad thing to dress up like that. It's not a bad thing to wear your sneakers, you wear your Jordans and everything and look like a smart man. But that should be once in a while. You know, don't make it a lifestyle where I'm like, trust me, if I see my father dressed like that, I'm going to say, are you okay? Because I'm used to seeing him a certain way. You understand? So there's some certain people that still have a child in them that haven't yet grown, that haven't yet dealt with the issues. Let's say if you're coming from, you're watching your mother constantly being abused by her father, physically, emotionally, financially, you think that's the way of life. And so because you haven't dealt with that, when you get married, you start to do the same thing to your wife. Your wife will start to believe that's a normal thing because she also saw it in her home. And that's just the reality of life.
So, ID Hub,
yeah,
Christian based from my understanding.
Yes.
Are you affiliated to any church so far?
So right now, no.
So you end up church?
No, I do go to church, but ID Hub is not affiliated to a church yet. Maybe now it will be, but for not yet.
So if people want to meet you,
they can reach out to me on my WhatsApp or directly on a phone call. We can meet in person.
yeah. I'm branding like online, so this is ID Hub, Facebook page, something like that.
I told you it's in the intention stage. So once I get the team in place,
it's not
once
good
people
to,
come on board.
your intentions are good, man. You have to intention since 2022.
No, okay, so now that
even if it status work, you
know, it's supposed to be my father right now, so I feel like I'm being whipped, and okay, the whipping is justified.
Yeah.
So yeah, when
you know I'm being hard on you.
Yes.
Don't forget that you were always hard on me. Like, no, this is what I'm going to do. No, do this, push. So now,
so it's revenge.
Not really revenge. It's just payback. Is it?
It's revenge. Payback and revenge is the same.
Appreciating in the opposite way. No, I'm trying to tell you. No, it's a situation where you
like
see
you
someone.
Help me in this way, yeah, like help you back.
Stand. They say, okay, now you also stand. You know.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. Start now. Give me the position. I'm okay. Let's tell me, okay, you start pass out.
Well, we can be the media team. I mean, I don't. You can run the pages and everything because if people want to, if people want to reach out to the organization, definitely they have to start through, you know.
No, not comedy.
Okay.
You don't do journalism.
So, because, you know, the problem with people, the reason why certain organizations go is because the pioneer wants to do everything themselves. You can't carry the organization on your shoulders yourself. That's why there's something called delegation. You know, if I have the vision, I have to make my team understand the vision to say, guys, this is our job. Our task is to help people heal, is so and so and so and so. You understand? So it's like creating a ripple effect. The more people join. So once people come, receive their healing, understand their identity, it's easy because if I speak to you, I'm speaking to a generation behind you. Yeah. I'm not just speaking to you because I know if I tell you this, you go tell somebody else about it. Yeah. You understand? So sometimes when you're speaking into someone's life or you're speaking to a person, understand that there's a generation behind that you're helping. It's not just that one person. That's something I learned from Bible school as well because I realized people say a lot of things. So you're a pioneer of an organization, sorry about that. And then you want to do everything yourself. That organization will fall even before it started. If that is your intention. But if your intention is to empower and help other people, it will be a very successful and healthy organization.
Maybe just in closing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's too big. I'll continue going. Alright, in closing, I
yeah.
think what would just be your last word to a person who they've gone through stuffs in life and they're still holding on to the pain, the hate, the bleeding, they don't want to heal.
My advice, should I look at the camera or look at you? Okay, so my advice to a person out there that's still bleeding, that's still hurting, and that still feels misunderstood, I think it's a choice. You have to make the choice to heal. Because sometimes you find that even the people that hurt you don't remember that they hurt you. The people that injured your spirit, that broke your spirit, so that crushed your identity, don't even realize it. So it's about you deciding to say you want to get to a healthier space. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not easy, but it must happen. Because at the end of the day, you know what they say about forgiveness. If you're holding on to pain or hurt, it's like drinking poison and expecting. It's like I'm drinking poison and expecting you to die.
Yeah.
I'm just killing myself. And so I should get to a point where you build a relationship with Christ, because that's the only place you find. You will look for it in the club, you won't find it. You will look for it amongst your friends. If they are the wrong friends, you will not find it. If they're not people that build you, you will not find your healing. So once you make the decision to want to heal, it all starts with the decision. It starts with opening up, but also when you're opening up, look at the person you're opening up. I won't come and open up to you and then I hear my story with the next person the next day. That's another reason why people stop opening up. Because I feel like, I told you my secret, how did it reach the third party? And so that's my advice. Let go and let God. Let go of the pain, let go of the anger, let go of the depression. Sometimes the people that hurt us because they didn't know any better. You can't give what you don't have. So if the only thing that I give out is insults, is anger, is resentment, it's because it's what I have inside me. I can't give out love if I don't have love inside me. And that's what we must understand. So check yourself. Understand what point is hurting me, what point of my life injured me to be this person that I am today. And that's the only way you can heal.
That's very true. My last question is, if you got a chance right now to meet a 7-year-old Norah, what advice would you give?
I think the first thing I would do is give her a very big hug. Because she was a very notorious champion, but still a very strong girl. So the advice I would give her is to build a relationship with God and just be more obedient, because again, you don't choose what family you come from, you don't choose your parents. The best thing you could do is pray for them and decide not to be hurt. Again, I'll go back to what I'm saying. Everything that we do is a choice. I control what's within me. Anything that's within my skin, anything that's within me, emotionally, mentally, I control it myself. So if I allow what you say to me to get to me, it's like I'm piling things under a mat. The next thing that happens is the mat will fall off. All that will come out. So regardless of how much I hide my pain, my hurt, eventually one day it's going to come out. So that would be my advice to 7-year-old Norah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Before I had a therapy session,
this was a therapy.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us today on this short conversation with Norah. I'm seeing the folk because she does.
I feel like I'm on a hot seat right now.
Yeah. Otherwise, thank you for watching through our video host, Ivan Vagwada. Until next time.